Welcome, everybody, to the Marc Drucker podcast. Marc is a certified hypnotherapist and now a certified instructor as well. He specializes in helping people that have problems with fears and phobias, anxiety, addictions, distractions. And in fact, we're going to talk about that on this podcast. So I'd like to introduce Marc Drucker.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marc. Welcome to my show. Today we're going to talk about too much behaviors, like smoking, overeating or emotional eating, nail biting, drinking too much, even oversexing. I mean, these are all areas where there are anonymous.
How could there be oversexing?
Well, there are a lot of people who have sexual compulsions, and some of them are not that crazy or unusual, like fetishes, but some people have an obsession with sex and they need to have it a few times a day.
We'll have to talk about that. Did you see Sons of Anarchy? Did you watch that series?
I started seeing it, but then I got too wrapped up in it, and I was afraid I was going to lose like a week to it.
There was a guy in that had a weird kind of thing, but whatever.
Was that the guy who dressed like Elvis?
No, that was the guy who kept putting his hand down his pants and he'd walk around that way and just didn't care who saw him like that.
Oh, reminds me of you.
Yeah. Anyway, so
no, today I'm going to talk about distractor behaviors. There are three. I kind of break it down to three kind of areas before we get into distractions. There's the too much behaviors, or the distractor behaviors. Then there are the behaviors where they're just the problems I deal with. As a specialist, I specialize in anxiety, fears, phobias, self-esteem, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress, confidence, motivation. So one of the things I deal with is too much behaviors. One of the things I deal with is people who do things more like self-torturing, like the low self-esteem, people with low self-esteem who just beat themselves up over everything they do and say. And then we have the other type of behaviors where people are kind of like in a frozen state and they're just stopped functioning completely. And we'll talk about that on another show. It's usually the high functioning people.
What about people that don't follow through?
People who don't follow through?
Yeah, people that start things but never finish.
That goes into the other category of I call it stuck in a rut. They just, well, it depends. Usually the stuck in the rut people are people who are type A, who are very, very smart, perfectionist type of people, but when too many things happen at once, they shut down. Say, for example, a client of mine came to me because she retired from her job, and she's very bright, intelligent, and her mother died at the same time, and then her sisters and the nephews went off and sued her, and so like her whole world just came crashing down, and she just got stuck, and just ceased to function. A highly functional person with all these issues that she can't find her solutions to, and if there's no solution for a person like that, they just cease to function and do anything.
Okay.
There are many reasons why people are lacking motivation. But today we're going to talk about the distractor behaviors, the too much behaviors.
Are these things that people don't even think about or realize they're doing, or they do realize they're doing it?
Usually eventually they realize it.
Okay.
I mean, I work with people all the time, for example, who bite their nails, but they're really biting their nails, chewing the skin off their fingers. They're just eating their fingers.
Is that distracting to them or to you?
No, it's a distracted behavior to them, like overeating.
Okay.
They have a bad feeling. They don't know how to deal with it.
So they bite.
Well, they put the feeling in the back of their mind. They kind of forget about that, and it's kind of gnawing away at their subconscious mind, and so they find a way to get the tension out, be if it's smoking too much. Emotional eating is huge. People who eat when they're not hungry, but eat because it's something to do, something to take their mind off things.
Right.
The feeling of eating and chewing, swallowing, the whole process, and it just goes on with it's either sweets or salty in that area.
Okay.
But it goes for everything, and so here's where I come in. If they can't stop the too much behavior, smoking obviously will kill you. Anything done in excess is dangerous. So when they finally realize, obviously, if you're a smoker and you're going to smoke for the rest of your life, 99.99% of those people will get heart disease, emphysema, cancer. Maybe, everyone here talks about that 105-year-old uncle they know.
That smoked all his life.
Yeah. But
my great grandmother smoked till she was 93 and then died.
Yeah. she got hit by a bus.
And she smoked Camels, dude.
Unfiltered?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's a rarity. So it's pretty much, with few exceptions, you're going to die, and you're going to die a slow death. And there are commercials on TV that just horrify me. And, of course, I'm a non-smoker.
Yeah, those are scary commercials. I've seen those.
You've seen those?
Yeah.
It's brutal, those commercials.
But I think it's good that they put them on.
Yeah, it's good because people are taking action now. I mean, the laws in New York State has made it so for the last 20 years, no smoking in bars, restaurants, no smoking sections. You can't really smoke anywhere but outside, which is what makes it really difficult because you're standing outside in the cold or the rain just to get your cigarette fix. And then they come to me. Eventually, when people are frustrated and they've run out of options, they can't control themselves, they can't stop smoking, they can't stop eating, they just can't stop whatever it is, that's when I get a call from them. And my job is to find out, why are they compelled to do this? Is there a feeling that's continuing, a pattern of feelings that keep going on and on and on? Or something from their childhood, an emotional event that occurred that they kind of bottled up, and whenever they feel a bad feeling, they don't know how to deal with it, so they go to the eating. One client, in fact, it's a nice story. Heavyset woman, it's not really appropriate to say that, but she came.
What do you mean?
Well, because I don't want to call anyone heavyset.
BBW?
I don't know what BBW is.
Big, beautiful woman?
Anyhow, she was. She came to see me, and we did hypnosis together. We did my 5-session interactive program, and it turns out that she came from a very large family. She had like 8 or 9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And so one Thanksgiving, when she was about 7 years old, the whole family was there, cousins, uncles. It was a madhouse.
Right.
And she never got any attention because she was one of a million kids, somewhere in the middle. And Mom asked...
She was like Jan Brady.
Exactly. She was the Jan Brady of the family. And her uncle came over. Her uncle was there, and Mom's asked Uncle, said, hey, Lou, can you go to the store and get a pound of sugar for me? And Lou said, sure. He said, and he turned to my client, I'm not going to say her name, said, hey, do you want to come to the store with me? And she was so happy to get that one-on-one attention with her uncle. She was a little girl. And after they got the sugar, they stopped by an ice cream parlor and had ice cream. And it was one of her favorite memories. So now as an adult, 30, 40 years later, what soothed her when things were difficult was this positive memory of being with her uncle at 7 years old at the ice cream parlor. And thus, her distracting behavior of eating too much ice cream and being out of control to it.
Yep.
Because it was a positive memory.
That's what happens.
That soothed her.
That's what. Yep. You sit there with the Haagen-Dazs in front of the TV set, and before you know it,
Yeah, but more times than not, it starts with a negative seed is planted, not a positive seed like this.
So how would give me an example? How would somebody, with let's say nail biting? Let's use nail biting.
Okay.
That's a tough that's a bad habit.
It's a tough habit, and it's also innocuous. There's not a lot. You can get germs and sick from dirt under your nails or dirty fingers, but it's not the same as smoking. Nail biting. Someone is nail biting because they feel a sense of maybe anxiety or worry, or they're just I don't know what's going on. It's not my. I don't know what's going on until I start working with the client. They may not even tell me. Might even tell me how it began. They've been doing it their whole life. They don't remember. But when we do hypnosis, we're able to go back and find what was the first time that they felt a feeling, didn't deal with it because they were too young, never learned to deal with it, but their way of dealing with the feeling was to suppress the feeling and distract themselves by chewing on their fingers. Not just the nails, but the nails, the finger beds, the cuticles, just shredding them.
Right. They hurt themselves.
Yeah. They're not shy about telling me either. I don't usually use the phrase eating your fingers, but more times than not they do because they want help.
So what do you do to help somebody with that type of situation?
Well, we got to take a look under the hood. While put them in a state of hypnotic relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we would do a form of age regression. We'd find out what fears they're holding in and where they began: anger, guilt, shame, sadness, boredom, stress, whatever it is that's causing or started the issue. We're looking for the initial sensitizing event, and we're looking for the symptom-producing event. I'll distinguish. The symptom-producing event was when the behavior started. When did they start biting their nails and eating their fingers? That's an important time to isolate, to know what they were doing, what they were thinking, what they were feeling.
Okay.
I need to get that information. And then we go back further and find the initial sensitizing event, which is the first time they had that feeling. Not the first time they acted on that feeling by distracting themselves by eating their fingers or doing something else, but the first time they distracted themselves by the first time they actually felt the feeling that later grew in to the behavior problem. And so in hypnosis, my job is to help neutralize all the issues, bring to light all the underlying issues that they may not even know about, all the causes that they don't know about, all the antecedents that they don't know about, or they forgot about, or they thought it was no big deal, but it's really something that's bugging them.
What if somebody doesn't remember why, whatever started?
That's a really good question, Pete. And a lot of people come in and they don't remember, or they think they know. And I write it down. I take it with a grain of salt. In hypnosis, okay, your conscious mind, the part of your mind that does all the analytical work that we're doing right now, is present, but also is your subconscious mind, which is the place that stores all your memories, all your feelings, all your beliefs, your identity. Essentially, who you are is your subconscious mind. So in hypnosis, your conscious mind docks up, or at least in my form of advanced hypnosis, your conscious mind docks up with your subconscious mind, and they're able to go back and do a little house cleaning and remember. They'll have full recollection of anything that's relevant for them to remember to what we're talking about.
Okay.
And so once we kind of identify the issue, it's usually something small. It blossoms into a out-of-control weed, but it's usually very easy to solve.
So you put them under the state of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
You go through your proprietary 5-session program.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that solve it right then and there, or what percentage of people, can you help, or is it doesn't work that way?
Well, majority of people I work with reach their goals. The others come darn close, and they have some serious stuff sometimes.
Okay.
Like panic attacks, anxiety. And they usually they make huge strides that change their life. And one of the reasons is because before I have to agree to work with someone. I get calls all day long to my office, but I want to make sure that the person wants help and isn't just doing it to please someone else. I got to make sure that they really want it and that we're a good match for each other. Otherwise, I'll refer them to somewhere else.
I got you. Okay. So if you feel, you kind of like pre-qualify them.
Yes. I need them to be successful for me to be successful. If they're not successful, I'm not successful, and I can't have that. I need everyone I work with to be successful and to live the life they dreamed of. the life of their design, not mine, their design.
Okay.
I just help them see it through.
I like that. All right, cool, man. So is there anything else we need to go over on this? Oh, we didn't get to the sexual part of this.
Hey, it could be anything from masturbation to a sex addiction to any. It's just another one of many too many things.
Now, this would not, but like smoking, eating, nail biting, drinking, that's something that, normally you do that's distracting and that's, people can see that kind of thing usually, whereas the sex thing, I don't know. I have a friend, Dale, who might be sexually distracted. I don't know.
I mean, there are people who I've heard tell of people who go to the men's room during the day and masturbate, take care of business, and why does sex and masturbation feel so good? But it does. I mean, I know you're a master at this area, Pete, and you could tell us all about it.
I'm a masturbator.
I know. The servants wait while the master baits.
But I mean, honestly, I don't know, dude. I think it was more exciting when I was younger, but I mean, you get older and other things take priority, I guess. But
some people hold on to these addictions into their senior citizen years. I mean, even past the time when, like typically all men over a certain age, over their 70s, develop some type of prostate cancer, which would affect erections, urinating a lot. It's not always fatal. It's just something that a lot of older men live with, and they just monitor it. But yet still, if they have the compulsion, they still act up on it or think about it, and it just takes up their time in their life.
Usually it's more men with sexual addiction than women, right?
Women too. There's no difference, no.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, statistics say that women more than men, but we always focus on men because, men have a reputation for being pigs, whereas women have a reputation for being ladies. But it has nothing to do with being a gentleman or a lady. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff.
I got you. It just is what it is.
It is what it is. It has nothing to do with economics.
All right. Okay. So again, anybody that has these distracting behaviors, they can go to your website. What is your website?
My website is MD, as like Marc Drucker, like my name, mdhypno.com. I also offer a free consultation.
Which is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and my number is 347-470-8262. So anyone who's suffering from a distractor behavior, or if you can't stop, you're having difficulty smoking and getting your weight in order, just doing things excessively, nail biting, drinking, whatever it may be, if you're ready to get help, you can just give me a call, complimentary consultation, and we'll see if we're a good fit for each other.
You can also find Marc on Facebook, and he has a lot of great informational videos on YouTube as well as all different social medias. So definitely check him out there. Marc, thanks so much for doing this podcast, and it's great information.
Thanks for having me, Pete. I love doing my show.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.